Welcome back to Morning Dose, everybody. Okay, if you've ever gone through a major failure in your life, you know how hard it can be to kind of bounce back from that. But what if you knew how to truly use those failures to your advantage? Our next guest is here to teach us how to do that. Heath Oakes is the author of the book Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success, and host of the motivational podcast Second Shot. He also happens to be my husband. Welcome in, babe.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it. This is fun. I figured you're really going to hand it to me since
I can.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, and typically I wouldn't invite a guest in and then say, tell me about all your failures. But I feel okay. I feel like it's important for you to explain some of the things that you've been through in your life for people to understand why you did the book and really why you have a perspective.
Nothing better than being known as the failure guy. You know, I mean, that's the best thing ever. But I think failure's perfect with also somebody who's overcoming a lot of obstacles, because I don't ever like to look at much as failures, but a lot of people do. So it's more so of overcoming obstacles from educational disabilities growing up, and continue to figure out a way to overcome them. Not being the most likely to succeed, I can promise you that, from as many times I've barely graduated high school, to my first business failure, listening to the wrong people. I was 18, 19 years old. I knew no different. So that's just a couple of the multitude of failures that I tried to overcome over and over.
Well, and I think it's important for people to know that. Okay, we've got a failure of a business. We've got voted, least likely to succeed.
Yeah.
And then you've gone on to do really well in business. So what is it, do you think, that stops people from being able to overcome failure? Because a lot of times when people have that first hit, they just stop.
Well, a lot of it's, like we'll get into with the 5 things that I've really kind of put together that talk about in my book, though, is one of them is people who sit at people's tables. They're you got people who are sitting there that are putting negativity in people. So it's hard to overcome failure when you're sitting around a bunch of negative people.
Okay.
When you're consistently around that.
Yeah. So let's talk about those top 5. First thing that you say is to just embrace the failure and own it. What do you mean by that? Well,
that's the biggest thing. Is the first failure that I had, I was like on the uptick of a track of like the kid who did good. Like I had the cool stuff and then I lost it all. And it was like embarrassing. I had to go back and kind of eat my words. And so embracing it and owning it and just saying, you know what, screw it. I don't care what any of you say. I'm going to keep being me and keep moving forward to help me continue to move on in a big way.
So that you don't get stuck in it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next thing you say, look at who is sitting at your table. You mentioned that. What do you mean by that?
Well, when I talk about it, you look around your kitchen table, who's bringing a fork and who's actually bringing something to eat. Like you got a lot of people, everybody has people sitting around their table, putting stuff in the air, eating all their food, bringing nothing but a fork and bringing no good, nothing positive to the relationship, and you keep letting them come sit at your table. Clear your table out, get the right people at your table that aren't just bringing silverware. You have people bring some food. That way you're not the only one bringing something to the relationship.
I mean, I am the one that cooks every night. But I get what you're saying.
Is favor considered that?
Favor is considered cooking, for the record. Yes, thank you, it is. Okay, so the next one you say is know that you're not the only one.
Everybody likes to believe that people who are successful have something that they didn't have or didn't have to overcome them. A lot of people think that. A lot of people go, oh, well, they didn't have that road. Everybody had the road. Everybody I know successful had a long dirt road, and they had a shovel, and they filled in one pothole at a time until it got easier and easier and easier. And
then building on that, saying the greater the struggle, the greater the reward. That's something I hear you say that all the time. So it's kind of like we have to really go through it in order to find success.
I'm a firm believer in our business that I do is a lot of 100% commission sales, and so I see a lot of people that fail and some that make it. The people who have the bigger struggle, the people who have everything fall wrong in every time they take a step, have like the biggest careers of success.
Interesting.
And so I've always thought that it was perfect that it is. I believe you're being tested. How much can you handle? Because when you reap the rewards, we got to make sure you can handle it.
Okay, the last on your big 5 here, make small changes. So explain what you mean, because you're saying, okay, do a lot of these big things, but also make small changes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little small changes. A lot of people try to come in and blow up everything they're doing, and you're never going to do that. You're never going to be able to stick with it. Do one little thing, start off listening to positive podcast and reading a positive book 15 minutes in the morning, and do that for 3 months, and then get rid of the bad people at your table, bring in the good people at your table. Do one little thing at a time, because changing your mindset and where you have to be in order to handle all of those struggles It's something that's a 5-10 year journey. It's not a quick fix. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not anybody who sells you that is selling you a lie.
Yeah.
Because the struggle is a long-term, consistent changes that'll make it better over time.
Well, thank you, babe.
Thanks for having me.
That was so good. He inspires me. He does. I mean, he does. You've helped me to really sort of reformulate my own morning routine and get into more of a positive mindset. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks, hon.
Okay, so the book is Ignorance on Fire, Journey of Failing Your Way to Success, if you want to check it out. Thank you so much. You were awesome. You did great. You killed it. Okay, Shane, we'll send it over to you.
And the Second Shot podcast, which I can vouch for. Very good podcast.
Thanks,
and
Shane.
Jenny appears on there every now and then. Hey,